disability evaluation. And you all know disability evaluation is a must for all PMR specialists. Whenever you are in job, you will have to attend a different medical board where you will have to assess the things. So one must know thoroughly about this evaluation of disability, as this evaluation is not depends upon the experience of a person. It has to be exactly calculated, because many times you may have to face in the court of law challenges in the court of law if you have not correctly evaluated. There are a lot of modification has been done as per the previous one, that was as per the RPwD Act 1995. But in spite of lot of modifications, still there are some lacunas in the current evaluation also. For example, this evaluation of SCP as per GMFC score they have given it as a percentage, but actual the guidelines there should not be any range. It should be exact percentage of the disability. Other conditions like in spine angle of more than 100 degrees, then only he is getting 40%. And in case of claw foot, which is a correctable deformity, but still in case of Pirani score 6, the 40% disability has been given. So still there are a lot of lacunas in the field of disability evaluation. Today we have with us an expert and senior member, Professor Navin Kumar. He will speak more thoroughly about this topic. Over to Navin sir. Thank you very much, sir, joining with us. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good evening to all. So just before I start my presentation, I want to say a few words why this topic. Already Dr. Pabitra has given some output. The thing is, around 2 months back, Dr. Pabitra contacted me that some topic for PGs, interesting topic for PG, we should take in this webinar series. So since my interest is there, that I wanted to do this, but the main reason for that topic is that this is usually very much, as I have been going to various institutes and in colleges, this topic is very much neglected during the PG teaching of PMR, as far as I could understand. Our PMR being a specialty which is more dealing with disability, we should be the expert of assessment also, and our word should be the last word in the medical boards. But if our PGs are not learning this evaluation, then definitely how will we become expert and how our words will be taken as important. That's why I think another main reason, I have been, again, same thing I've been seeing, talking to senior people also. These guidelines have been revised in 2018, but many of our seniors, junior level faculty are not aware of this new guidelines. So today, in around 30 to 40 minutes, I will take you around for this thing. I think I will be able to do justice with my presentation. It will be helpful for all the PGs and young faculties as well, and whoever is interested in disability evaluation. So straight away, not wasting much time, I will go to the topic. The today topic is disability evaluation of locomotor disabilities as per RPwD Act 2016. I am fixing myself only for locomotor disabilities, but before I go ahead, I just let you know that other than locomotor disabilities, an opinion of PMR expert is required, and in neurological conditions and conditions with blood disorders where there may be locomotor disability also. So we should keep this in mind. I got stuck 1 minute. Yeah, not good. So this will be the way we will go ahead. First, we have little introduction, background, then principle of disability evaluation, new disabilities. And
excuse me, sir.
Hi.
Sir, your slides are not visible, sir.
1 minute. Let me see. But I already said somebody stopped my, okay. Somebody has changed, stopped my screen sharing. That's why I just give me 1 minute. Yeah. So, not visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But I am not able to, I am not able to change myself in my computer. Let me just try something. 1 minute. Give me 1 minute. Yeah, now it is.
It's
so
visible now.
Now it is moving also, na?
Yes,
It
sir.
is
Yes, sir.
okay,
Yes,
fine.
sir.
Okay, fine.
Let's move
So
it.
we will cover this topic in introduction, background, principle, what are the new disabilities which has been added, and what are the changes have been made to the previous guidelines, and some locomotor disabilities mainly, which is our topic, and then some examples we will see, so we can understand how to use this guidelines. So first, coming to introduction. So this is the Gazette of India published, which gave this guide means new act, RPwD Act. So as India is a signatory to the convention by UNO, and India ratified this convention on the first day of October 2007, and it is necessary to implement the convention. It was enacted by the parliament by in 2016. This is a parliamentary language, just not going to this, just we should know. So as per this guideline, there are some specified disabilities. What are these? Physical disability, which include locomotor disability, visual impairment, hearing impairment, then intellectual disability, mental behavior, disability caused due to chronic neurological conditions or blood disorder, multiple disability, more than one of the above specified. And there is one more important column, any other category as may be notified by the SESCO. So there is an option for adding other disability also later on. So coming to background of this, why a UN Convention, Universal Declaration of Human Rights, it was started from a particular vantage point, and body of international law has grown as our understanding of issues and our vantage point has changed. Previous efforts generally fend alter health and welfare approach had not been integrated into broader human rights framework and family of development framework. And advance in human rights protection approach were not resulting in systemic change. Then existing human resource monitoring doing little more than raising awareness. So existing human rights treaties were not being used to promote and protect the rights of PWDs. So towards a UN convention in 1987, first proposal for a disability convention, but there was lack of agreement between member states, and general human rights treaties were considered to be protective enough. So in 2001, again, Mexican proposal for a new convention, which was endorsed by UN General Assembly, and ad hoc committee was created in December 2001 to work on a comprehensive and integral international convention on protection and promotion of rights and dignities of PWDs. So ad hoc committee met twice per year in the New York and was comprised of all member states, civil society, national human rights institutions. So and on December 2006, the UN General Assembly formally adopted the Convention of Right on Persons with Disabilities, and it was open for signature on March 30, 2007. It is a convention of many firsts. First human rights treaty of 21st century, fastest negotiated human rights convention in UN history, first time in history civil society actively participated, first human rights convention with an explicit social development dimension, first human rights convention open for signature by regional integration organizations, and with 82 signatories on March, it is the highest number of signatories in history for a UN convention. So coming to the principle, in 50 articles, this human rights, what existing human rights mean within a disability context, and establishes reporting and monitoring procedure for state parties, and it is an optional protocol of complaints. It is not establishing any new right, just reinforcing the rights. So right, RPwD in this obligation, RPwD Act was notified by the Indian Parliament, and India had ratified the UN Party on October 2007. Rajya Sabha passed on 2016, and then Lok Sabha 14 and 17 December respectively, and on 30 December it came into being. So it replaced the Persons with Disability Act that was enacted way in 91. So in the, if you see the title of the act itself, previously it was Persons with Disability Act in 1995, and now it is Rights of Persons with Disability. So previously we were more concerned about their welfare, general welfare, but now our focus is that they also have rights, equal rights as a normal person. And as our government, our honorable Prime Minister is also very much encouraging. He has coined the term Divyang to describe PWD, and started Sugamya Bharat or Accessible India campaign. So all the government buildings should be accessible to the PWD also, and as inclusive society, which should include PWD also, when he says Sabka Saath and Sabka Vikas. So as per this RPwD Act, on 4 January 2018, the guidelines were notified in the Gazette. So salient features are that disability has been based on an evolving and dynamic concept. Type of disability previously was 7, has been increased to 21, And central, like I previously told, the central government will have power to add more type of disabilities. So 21 disabilities are given. I will just go fast. Blindness, low vision, leprosy cured, hearing impairment, which include deaf and heart, locomotor disability, dwarfism, intellectual disability, mental illness, autism spectrum disorder, cerebral palsy, muscular dystrophy, chronic neurological conditions, specific learning disabilities, multiple sclerosis, speech and language disability, thalassemia, hemophilia, sickle cell disease, and multiple disability, acid attack victim, and Parkinson's disease. So we are just coming only for locomotor disability. What is the definition of locomotor? It is an inability to execute distinctive activities associated with movement of self and objects resulting from affliction of musculoskeletal or nervous system or both, include leprosy cured persons, means a person who has been cured of leprosy but is suffering from loss of sensation, manifest deformity or extreme physical deformity. Then cerebral palsy, which is a neurological condition we already know. I'm not going to define it. Dwarfism, which means height is less than 4 feet 10 inches. Muscular dystrophy, that also we know. And a new condition has been also included, acid attack victims. I preferably use acid attack survivors, but officially it is acid attack victims. So it is a means a person disfigured due to violent assaults by throwing of acid or similar corrosive substance. So what are the new disabilities added in locomotor disability as per this guidelines? They are 3: acid attack victims or survivors, muscular dystrophy, lymphedema, Charcot joint, and CTV. So, and what are the changes made for existing disabilities? In upper and lower limb, mobility category has been changed. Extra points, there are some minor changes. For hand, there are minor changes for sensation and grasp. Scoliosis and kyphosis, there are changes in disability for corpse angle. Stroke, a specified scale has been prescribed. For spinal cord injury was also previously there, but were not very clearly mentioned. Now it is very clearly mentioned, and categorization on ACI scoring and level of involvement is already given. And for cerebral palsy, GMFCS and MAX, manual ability classification system, is to be used. For leprosy, ear, hand, and feet scoring has been added. And for short stature and dwarfism, previously only pathological dwarfism was included. Now it is constitutional dwarfism is also included. Now coming to locomotor disabilities, already I told the definition. So it includes central and upper motor neuron lesions and lower motor neuron and muscular disorders. So first we will go for lower motor neuron. So when we assess locomotor disability, these are the variables we should be doing: strength of muscle, range of motion, coordination, stability, limb length discrepancy, hand functions, sensation, deformity, and complications if there are any like pain, infection, etc., and whether upper extremity dominant or non-dominant. And this formula we should always keep in mind. Different parts, different type of disability has to be added by this formula. This formula can be used at multiple times. So assessment for extremity, lower extremity, one lower extremity, one upper extremity, means each upper extremity have 90%, and hand separately have 90%. And then this is again subdivided into mobility, strength, stability in lower extremity, and coordinated activity, which again has got 90%. Hand we will deal separately. There is a different way of division of for hand. So first is muscle strength. So in a lower limb, hip, knee, and ankle, and upper limb, shoulder, elbow, and wrist, all are equally given weightage of 30, 30, 30. So that will combine total to 90. So how to go about it? There are 4 steps. First, calculate average power around a joint. Then calculate corresponding loss percentage, multiply it by 0.3 because 30% weightage is for each joint, and then add the mathematically for each joint. You will arrive at a percentage which is out of 90 for in point of view of strength. Then next step is mobility. In upper limb, shoulder, elbow, wrist, and hand. Hand is a new addition. Previously, hand was not there in mobility, but now hand is a new addition. So shoulder is only 20, elbow is 20, and wrist is 10. Somebody is raising hand. Is any doubt there? Neha Agarwal. And hand is 40. Any doubt there, Neha Agarwal? Can I go ahead?
Sir, we will take up the question at the end of the session. Please continue.
Okay, fine. So there was a hand raise, so I thought any doubt is there or not audible, some problem is there. Lower limb, then coming to lower limb. Hip is
Okay.
35, knee is 35, and ankle is 20. So this is further subgraded according to the restriction of movement. If severe is there, we can give up to 3 by it multiplied by up to 3 by 3, or moderate is up to 2 by 3, mild is up to 1 by 3. I will explain in next table how this is 1 by 3 or 2 by 3. Like hip is having 35% maximum if fully severely restricted movement. But if it is moderately, then means 35. If you make it 2 by 3, it is maximum to 23 we can give. Similarly, if it is only mildly involved, then it will be around 12 percentage only. So I have just made this table according to the each number, whether it is 10% or 20%, 35% or 40% involvement for different parts. You can do mild, moderate, and then severe. Now coming to hand is separate way of assessment. Hand has there are 3 different components. Prehension, in prehension which include apposition, which is 8, 2% for each finger. Then lateral pinch, which is means holding key. Then cylindrical grasp, large objects and small objects, and similarly spherical grasp, large objects and small objects. So it is divided into 3% each. And then hook grasp, where we can tell the person to lift a bag, which is 5%. So this total, if we add, it comes to 30%. Then next is sensation. Thumb is having 9, index finger 6, and all other fingers are 5, 5, 5 each. So accordingly, this will come again total 30. Then strength is grip weightage is, total is 30, and grip strength weightage is 20, and pinch is 10%. Usually, ideally, this should be assessed by a dynamometer. Otherwise, if dynamometer is not, we can assess clinically also. Now there are some other thing also other than mobility and strength. Coordinated activities. Well, basically, if you see the list of coordinated, they are activities of daily living: lifting overhead object, touching nose, eating Indian style, combing, putting on shirts, ablution Indian style, drinking glass of water, buttoning, tying, nara, or writing. So all these are Indian activity of daily living, and there are total 10 activities. For percentage for each is 9%. If the person is able to do this activity, we have to give 0, not able to do 9%, but if able to do with difficulty, 4.5. That is the way grading has to be done. Similarly, for lower limb, that is stability component, which mainly involve ambulation part. So there are 9 activities. Each has got a point of 10. So same, again, not able to do 10, able to do 0, but if able to do with difficulty, 5. Again, we can add. So again, one more value out of 90 we will get. So there are additional weightage point up to 10% in deformity, pain, loss of sensation, complications. But shortening is a special this thing. In for lower limb shortening, for every first half inch is nil, but every half inch beyond half inch is 4%. But if because of shortening he is going beyond 10, then we can give beyond 10 also extra points, but should not go beyond 100. That also keep in mind. And for upper limb, there is only first 1 inch nil, and after that every 1 inch 2%, but it will not exceed beyond 10. And for upper limb, there is one more extra component. If dominant extremity is involved, directly we can add 10. So 10 plus extra points 10 also we can add. So total 20 extra point can be given if dominant extremity is involved. Now coming to spine. So spine usually condition changes, so we have to review again, and disability has to be given in relation to spine. And if there is a neurological involvement, we have to use combining formula, and lesions of spine are either traumatic or non-traumatic. So traumatic lesions, cervical, as we see according to the level of involvement, whether there is more, what is the radiological presentation, we can give the different grading of the percentage. Like I am just going through this table, and for disc lesion, it is also mentioned. For thoracolumbar fracture and lumbar spinal fracture also mentioned. Disc lesion again, lumbar, this also mentioned. But the one thing very clearly we have to keep in mind that because of this disc lesion or fracture, nobody can get disability certificate because always if you see the grading, it is less than 40%. Until unless there is involvement of two areas. Like example I want to give, if a person is having a cervical as well as lumbar, then if we have to add by combining formula, then definitely he can get. But otherwise, like why I am saying this, many times patient will approach us in OPD or medical board. I am having low back pain. I am having PIVD. Kindly give me disability certificate. So low back pain in itself cannot be a criteria for giving it. But if he is having disc lesion, definitely we have to assess him accordingly. Or if he has cervical disc lesion also, then he can come under more than 40, then definitely certificate can be given. But we have to see whether he is satisfying this criteria or not. Now coming to non-traumatic lesions, basically there are two common non-traumatic lesions. Others are also there. One is scoliosis, and in scoliosis there are three criteria. One is in structural deformity, in which we see the X-ray of the corpse and X-ray corp angle. Largest angle has to be seen, and as per the angle, we can give this different category of percentage. Then there are cardiopulmonary tests, which include chest expansion and single breath count. So depending on, we will do chest expansion, major chest expansion, sorry, and single breath count, and add this for cardiopulmonary. We can add this and this, so we'll get cardiopulmonary test. And then structural deformity. So this is deviation of plumb line and head tilt over C7 spine. So we will get three components. These three components have to add it by combining formula. Then there may be some, we can give 10% extra for, again, like we gave in lower limb. So this is extra points for kyphosis, sorry, scoliosis. Then coming to kyphosis, there are only two things. One is angle, and another thing is torso imbalance. So, and directly we can add this, and we can give the percentage. In this, we don't need to use formula for adding. Directly can be added. And there are some other conditions like miscellaneous, like ankylosing spondylitis. In that also, if there is a complete stiffness is there, then we can give. But that ankylosing spondylitis can be given only when whole spine is involved, not one region is involved. Then coming to amputation, it is actually amputation is the most easy part in the disability assessment. There is a table given. You see the table, see the level of percentage involved and level of amputation, and accordingly you can give percentage. More proximal, more percentage, maximum is 100%. And additional points are maximum again 10% for complications like difficulty in fitting procedure or dominant extremity. If there is a dominant extremity, we can go beyond 10 also, because for dominant extremity 10 plus any complication, we can give that also. And it will be similar for transfer deficiency also. We can give according to the same as for amputation, this thing. But for longitudinal deficiency, we have to again go back to that, what we have done, mobility and strength assessment, and then we can give accordingly. Now coming to club fit, there is Safik Prani scoring is supposed to be used. Total score is maximum 6. Now scoring is 0 to 3 depending on evaluation of contractures. There is a hand foot and might foot score which has to be seen, and like maximum percentage 40% for total of 6. So if a person is having only one side involvement, he may or may not get, but if it's both feet are involved, definitely he may come on more than 40%. And then for lymphedema is a new category which has been included, and in this we have to measure interlimb difference in circumference. So if it is less than 10, we have to give a grading 1, 2, 3, 4. Accordingly, percentage of disability can be given. So the severity should be either grade 3 or grade 4. Then for Charcot joint, this is also a new category. Lee-Roger classification has to be used, and they have separate means X-ray we have to do and see what is the involvement in the, what is the how much deformity or how much destruction in the foot is there. Accordingly, forefoot, midfoot, and rear foot. But we should see, though we are adding all this, but we should not go beyond 100. Then for neurological conditions, mainly stroke, this modified Rankin scale has to be used, and according to the modified Rankin scale grading, the percentage of disability can be given. Then comes bladder involvement also is a criteria for disability, depending from mild or if it is to a very severe, 25 to 100% can be given. Then for ataxia, it depends on severity of the ataxia, whether it is mild, moderate, severe, or very severe. 25 to 100% can be given. Then coming to spinal cord injuries. So spinal cord injuries, there is ASIA impairment scale. We know everybody of us is knowing ASIA impairment scale, and they know the level of different involvement like tetraplegia, paraplegia, cauda equina, and cauda equina. So tetraplegia maximum up to 90%, paraplegia up to 75%, cauda equina with normal bowel bladder up to 40, cauda equina without bowel with bowel bladder involvement up to 60%, and 20% additional can be given for complication, but not go beyond 100 again. Then acid attack survivors, it is depending on the involvement of body parts and severity of involvement. And it is also for internal, there is also grading for internal organs, internal organs such as mouth and esophagus. In this thing, sometimes we may need help of plastic surgeon or a surgeon, because we as independently may not be able to do. So plastic surgeon or surgeon help may be needed. And this we have to keep in mind that even from hair, starting from hair to toe, including genitalia, every body part has been included. I already told internal organs are also included. Then comes leprosy cured person. In this EHF or eyes, hand and feet scoring is there. Scoring is done from 0 to 2 depending on severity. Maximum score can be 12 and disability percentage ranges from 20 to 100%. Then cerebral palsy, GMFCS and max grading from 1 to 5, from less than 40 to more than 80% is to be given. And then there is use of hands to do activities of daily living, which is supposed to be used for the patients of age 4 to 18 years. And depending on level 1, whether it is level 1 to 5, up to 70% can be given. So if there is a GMCS 1 child who is having less than 40%, but still he will be coming under level 1. So level 1 says used to do all ADLs without any difficulty. So any child with a cerebral palsy, if it is GMCS 1 also, he is eligible to get a disability certificate up to 18 years. But beyond 18 years, we have to see only GMFCS. And to add this to GMFCS and max, combining formula has to be used, and the disability has to be given in relation to whole body. And sometimes in cerebral palsy, there are some other associated are there, like eye involvement, mental involvement. Then they will come under multiple disability. When we are saying GMFCS and use of max, we are only focusing on locomotor part. If a person, a child is having other social problem like vision, hearing, or mental, then it will come under a category of multiple disability. Then short stature and dwarfism. In short stature, whether it is proportional or disproportionate, constitutional or pathological, it will be included. So this is the change. Previously, only those who used to have pathological, they were included, but other normal, constitutional dwarfism was not included. And for a person to have any disability should be less than 4 foot 10 inch, but to have a percentage of 40%, because it is 4% disability for every inch shortening, if we calculate. So 4 a person of 4 feet will have 40% disability. Beyond that means if it's somebody is 4 feet 9 inch or 4 feet 8 inch, he will be having disability, but it will not be up to 40. It will be less than 40, so he may not be eligible to get a certificate or able to get the benefits. Then muscular dystrophy, same formula, same thing we have to use: range of motion, strength, contractures or scoliosis. And since it is progressive, we have to be reviewed every 2 years or as desired by the patient or as decided by the medical authority. Now I will go for some examples. This is the end of the assessment, but I will go this example. So this will make my work easier, and you will also be able to understand what I mean to say by this guidelines. So first we will take for a normal like trauma case. A person had fractured distal radius of right upper extremity, which was his dominant extremity, affected range of motion even after treatment as per follows. The loss of mobility was as shoulder was found to be normal, elbow was mild, wrist was moderately involved, hand was mildly involved, and muscle strength, shoulder was normal, elbow flexors extensors were 4, supination and pronation were 3, wrist, plantar flexor, dorsiflexor were 3, and radial divertor was 2, and ulnar division was 4. And in hand, sensation was normal, but strength, grip 20% loss, pinch 30% loss, prehension, opposition normal, only hook and cylindrical grasp loss, and their loss of coordinated activity is also 9%. So we have to calculate disability percentage. So strength, first we have to do strength of elbow average is 3.5. So corresponding percentage loss is 30%. And since the weightage of elbow joint is 30%, so we combine, multiply by 30% again, we get 9%. Then wrist, again, we calculated the average, we found 3. So average loss is 40%. So we do the weightage is wrist is 30%, so 30% of 40% is 12. So we directly add 9 plus 12, we get 21. So for strength, we have calculated value out of 90, which is 21. Now we did for mobility. Since elbow was mildly involved and elbow involvement, elbow maximum is 20. But if it is mildly involved, 20 into 1/3, if we do, it comes approximately 7. Similarly, wrist maximum percentage 10. If we do moderate, means 2 into 2/3, so it again come up to 7. And hand was mildly involved. Hand is having the maximum percentage in upper limb. Hand is having 40%. If it is mildly involved, we do 14 to 1/3, it becomes 13. So if we add this, all this mathematically, we get a figure of 27. So we have got 2 values. One is mobility, one is 20, this strength, 27 and 21. We cannot add them directly. We have to use the combining formula, which I mentioned previously. That's why I kept separate slide for that. A plus B, 90 minus A by 90. If we use that formula, if we calculate, we get it percentage of 42%. Now next was hand. So in hand prehension, there was involvement. So 5 plus 6 for prehension. Strength loss, grip is 20%. So 4, pinch is 30%. So it is 3. So it becomes 11 plus 4 plus 3. And sensation was found to be normal. So hand involvement was 18 out of 90. So we again apply the combining formula. We got 52. Now what we have added, 42 plus 18 with our formula, we got 52. Now coordination activity we already mentioned as 9. So we again apply this formula, 52 plus 9, we get 56. So 10, since it was a right upper limb, which was a dominant extremity, so it is adding 10 extra points, 10 for dominant extremity, we get total percentage of 66% in relation to right upper limb. This is the way locomotor disability can be calculated. Now we will go take example of scoliosis. So we did the corpse angle. It was found to be 55 degrees. Chest expansion was only 2.5. Single breath count was 22. So torso imbalance, we measured plumb line deviation was 2.5. And head tilt over C7 is 12 degrees. And mild disfigurement was also there. So we have to calculate total disability. So since corpse angle is 55 degrees to 22%, chest expansion is 10 for 2.5 centimeter. Single breath count is again 10%. So for 22. So this becomes total 42 degree, and torso imbalance is 16 plus this 3.5 centimeter and 4% to 20%. And we again apply this combining formula, 42 plus 20, we get 53%. And additional point for mild disability, 2%. So total disability will be 55% in relation to spine. Now coming to a case of paraplegia, ACR C with neuropathic pain. So disability will be greater than 60 and less than 75. Why? Because for paraplegia, maximum is 75%. And why I am saying greater than 60? Because 60 is the cauda equina with bowel and bladder involvement. So in between 60 and 75, it is to be there. So since it is ACR C, it is 65%. And additional point for neuropathic pain, 5% we can give. So total disability will be 70%. If we add this, and it will be relation to spine, and both lower limbs. Now coming to cerebral palsy, if we see a child, we found it is GMC second and max is level 1. So for GMC second, we can give 45%. For max level 1, 20%. And if we add by formula, we get 55% by formula we are using. And total disability has to be given 55% in relation to body. This is the last example, like I told, the most easy one. A case of left transtibial amputation with mid-level strength of stump. So simply, as per the table, we will see this will be 60% because it is up to lower third of leg, and total disability will be 60% in relation to left lower leg. So now I will give you two examples where I have seen this in my personal experience when I am doing for my institute or medical boards. So there are two different examples. One person got some recruitment for some lab technician post. I don't remember clearly, but I remember lab technician post. So he was having kyphoscoliosis, and so as we did the calculation, we found as per our this COPS angle and all this assessment we did, 64% was found, but there was no involvement of extremities or neurological deficit. So when we gave percentage and we found him to be eligible, but since if somebody has seen the recruitment criteria, they don't have a spine in that. They have either upper limb or means OL means one limb, OA means one arm means upper limb, or both limb or both legs or both arm. So this is only spine, purely spine involvement. So he will not consider, he was not coming under any category of this. So he was not considered for recruitment. But recently these guidelines have been changed, and Gazette notification dated 29 August 2022 have included spinal injury as well as spinal deformity also for all recruitment wherever there is upper one limb and one arm is added. So this has to be added wherever one limb and one arm is there. And this is a relation to a medical student. It is a very actually sad story, but very true only. This is a student who had done MBBS and MD from my institute only. He was having myopathy, but myopathy was not very severe. He was functionally good. But as we did the calculation for all the 4 limbs, it came to be more than 40%. So as per NMC or MCI guidelines, he was eligible for doing MBBS and MD. He did MD also in dermatology. But then he came to join for SRSIP. But in SRSIP, this NMC guidelines are there, but in SRSIP, as we found, all 4 limbs are involved. So he was not allowed. Why? Because both leg and arms is not a permitted category in SR post. So this is like another, like Dr. Pabitra was saying, there are some lacunas. These are also some lacunas where a person has got a disability percentage. He is disabled, but he is not getting benefit. So these things are also there. Just I am wanted to share you with this. This condition can also come. But what we can help sometime or we cannot help, because we have to go by the guidelines only. What is the option for such type of candidates? They can definitely approach either the disability commissioner or the courts, where usually courts are always helpful for this. Because if you, whether it is my personal this thing or UK will also agree with me, that a person who has done already MBBS, already done MD, who are we to stop him to not do SRC because of this guideline? But since we are on this side of table, we have to follow the guidelines. So we don't, we cannot, but the thing, something has to be done. I agree with Dr. Pabitra that there are some lacunas still there. Now coming to the last slide, summary. The scope of disability has increased. Assessing physician needs to be more sensitive towards the Divyangjan. People with disabilities are committed and willing to transform their lives. Community integration and rehabilitation interventions are sustainable and produce greater impact. The intervention should be responsive to the different needs and aspirations of people living with disability. Know your disability, know your response. So take home message from this presentation is proper clinical assessment as per guidelines. As per guidelines, we are not supposed to use our personal experience or personal choice. As per guideline only we have to do. And once our assessment is proper, then disability certificate is only simple mathematics, nothing else. And any specialist may be asked to issue disability certificate depending on the involvement. So thank you for your patient listening. I am ready to take the questions.
Thank you, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, definitely.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your nice presentation, sir. There must be a lot of questions from the audience side. However, I would like to start discussion from my side. Sir, many times you get cases. Currently, there is geo published from the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment that anybody is having a disability certificate, even if it is less than 40% also, still they will get some benefits.
Okay.
The benchmark disabilities are there for the education, for employment, other purpose. But for getting service facilities from different national institutes, they have done a guidelines that even it is less than benchmark disability, still also they will get benefits. So
That's
we are getting to
1 minute, Doctor. That's actually very good step, Dr. Pabitra, because sometimes what I feel, what more than 40%, okay, they are getting some benefits, they are eligible for something. But 0 to 40%, they are sometimes double disadvantaged because neither they are eligible for getting the benefits and neither they are eligible. Sometimes they are made unfit because of the disability. They are medically made unfit. So that they sometimes they suffer double. So I think that is a good point which you are told. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. So we are getting cases like children of less than 1 year age group. Most of the congenital deformities, they are coming for surgery or orthosis or something like that for treatment purpose. What is exactly the guidelines? What is the minimum age, or there is no age bar for having a disability certificate, issuing a disability certificate?
So I deliberately didn't cover that topic. So what are the guidelines for this disability certificate? This is one thing is if a person is getting treatment, so during that duration of treatment, certificate should not be issued ideally. Okay, but
So
if some person is very much adamant because he may get some benefit, then temporary certificate which is valid only for 6 months can be issued with mentioning in the certificate that the person is still under active treatment and the certificate percentage may change after the final listing. That is one thing. I have not completed. Let me complete. And ideally, the disability certificate has to be issued 6 months after completion of treatment. And if even after 6 months, the certificate should be issued only for 2 years. Why I am saying this? As a PMR specialist, we know 2 years is the maximum time for a healing. If a person is approaching 2 years after, then definitely he can be issued permanent certificate. But since up to 2 years, there's recovery and there's bone remodeling, so many things are happening. So up to 2 years, even in spinal cord injury, we say up to 2 years recovery happening. So up to 2 years, we can give this. But beyond 2 years, we can give permanent. Now you had some question. Now you ask me. I can.
Sir, cases we are getting like congenital amputees, transverse deficiencies, longitudinal deficiencies. They are coming for the treatment, but we are denying them any sort of orthosis, any or surgical benefits. We are denying them because they don't have a disability certificate. So my point of asking whether one can get a disability certificate of less than 1 year age or not, because they needed.
Definitely he can get. A person with congenital amputation and whatever category he is coming, we can assess as per longitudinal disability and this congenital transverse amputation. Already guidelines are there. But only one thing we have to remember: pediatric child, the assessment is very little difficult. But still, as a PMR person, we can definitely do the assessment. Do the assessment of mobility, do the assessment of strength, and give the percentage and give them the certificate because they have every right to get a certificate. But
yes, sir.
When we are giving a certificate, in that we have to write patient may be benefit with surgery or patient is advised surgery, and the certificate may be reviewed after the surgery. Because what may happen, patient may do surgery and he may not review. Then the thing is, this has to be written very clearly in the certificate itself. The patient may benefit with surgery and the percentage may be reviewed after the surgery. So that it clears you of any problem in later. Okay.
Sir, sir. For applying a certificate also they required Aadhaar card, voter ID card, which is not with the kids. Again, that is a problem for
for kids I can say, Dr. Pabitra, because nowadays Aadhaar card is made immediately after birth. So Aadhaar card they can get, and voter ID card or residency certificate of their parents. They can apply very well with that. Aadhaar card is the only requirement which is there, but now Aadhaar card is immediately after birth. I have seen Aadhaar card being made within 5 hours of birth. That is also now it is happening. If you are aware, you must be aware of it. Is was covered in news also. So they should definitely get a Aadhaar card, because Aadhaar card is as per now present law of the land. Aadhaar card is a basic criteria. If you don't leave aside that patient, even you go somewhere, first thing they will ask Aadhaar card. You know that. So Aadhaar card is the basic criteria. So Aadhaar card they can make.
Okay, sir. There are other two conditions, sir. As I said in the beginning, sir, for CP, we are using manual ability classification system and GMFCS system.
Yes.
And as you shown in your slides, GMFCS, they have a range of disabilities given for all levels. And besides that,
I agree that we have to apply our mind. We have to apply our mind. That is open for your interpretation, but we have to apply our mind.
So we can take lower range, we can take upper range, we can take in between also. The same thing also.
You see the child and you feel, you can assess yourself. That when you can see the child clinically, you assess and give it. That's why I'm telling it is open for your mind, application of mind.
So same thing also applying in case of a stroke assessment with modified Rankin scale. There also the range is given also.
Yes. You have to apply our clinical mind in that. Yes.
Okay, sir. Sir, last question from my side. Recently, we got a referral from Disability Commissioner. The same issue was there. Patient student admitted to MBBS with Jenu Valgam. He has received 40%, more than 40%, and he was admitted under disability quota. And that somebody has complained against him, and the case was referred by the Disability Commissioner to us. We examined that there is no problem in range of motion. There is no problem in the strength, power, everything is normal. Only stability factor are there, but that was not coming beyond 40%. How do you answer this Jenu Valgam case? It's very difficult. People are giving for more than 40%. It's very difficult.
No. Just sorry to interrupt you again. Jenu Valgam, post THR, post TKR, they are not the criteria for issuing a certificate. One thing. Okay. Second thing, we have to again go back to our golden rule: mobility, strength, and stability. Do the assessment. If he is coming to more than 40%, fine. We are nobody to stop. If it is less than 40%, definitely not eligible. Somebody getting that's what these problems are always coming. But if we know our assessment properly, then there are no legal hurdles. But the problem happens when we don't do our assessment properly and we just on the seeing the patient, or we just make him or her walk, and just by idea or by guess we are giving her, then the problem comes. If we have a proper assessment, we can never have any problem.
Yes, sir. This is my sincere advice to all juniors also. Please have a logbook with you, that assessment book. Whenever you are going for any assessment disability board, go with that book and go through the guidelines. Don't use your common sense or your experience. Always go through the guidelines and assess it. Otherwise, you will drag to the court. Now, Dr. Abhishek, since I have joined by mobile only, I am out of session. Dr. Abhishek will take rest of the questions from the audience. Abhishek? Hello.
Sir, Abhishek sir is having some network issues, sir. So he's not able to join.
You can take questions from the chat.
There is a question in chat. There is a question. Can I reply?
Yes. There is question from Dr. Sharan. He is asking that.
I have seen it. I read the question. What about progressive conditions like Duchenne muscular dystrophy, where the patient weakness progress? How can we proceed with DC in such patient? So I think I already covered this in the last category of my presentation, muscular dystrophy. So we have to mention in the certificate progressive, and we have to give the certificate when we are assessing on that day what is the condition. That second thing. Third thing, we have to give a certificate valid for up to 2 years when the person in childhood age. But once a child becomes adult, we can give up to 5 years validity also. And if they want permanent, because sometimes they may not get benefit, so we can give beyond 18 years, we can give permanent also. But up to 18 years of age, every 2 years we can review the child, and the percentage of what we are giving, that is the percentage of means on that day. And there is, sorry, one more. I think I am clear in this. I am going to next question. So some Dr. Santosh is asking, quadriparesis and paraparesis and conditions like central cord syndrome, not paraplegia or quadriplegia. So coming to this question, like whether it's a spinal cord injury or tetraplegia or this quadriplegia, the presentation of, if it is a quadriplegia presentation, definitely we can give. Because when we are saying spinal cord injury, we are considering it as a upper motor neuron, not as a, I agree spinal cord injury can be upper motor neuron or lower motor, but when we are saying spinal cord injury, we are taking it as an example of upper motor neuron example. So this quadriparesis, paraparesis, if it is involvement is there, definitely we can give it accordingly. There is no problem in that. And if still we have any doubt, what we can do, we can take help of 1 minute. Yeah, if we have any doubt, we can take help of neurologist. So somebody is asking another question: if a quadriplegia is having amputation also, what to do? So it is very simple to do. What if a person is having quadriplegia and as well as amputation? You give for first quadriplegia, what is the percentage coming? Then see the amputation table, add by formula, give it. Okay. And one more question, some Dr. Ritika is asking that if a person is having amputation as well as weakness in same limb, can we add them directly or both formula? Definitely we have to use formula. Do use for the weakness what mobility and strength assessment I have told in the starting of my presentation, and amputation as per the table and add by formula. Because whenever there are two different types of disabilities, it has to be added by the formula only. Clear? Any more questions? Anybody want to ask? I will be happy to ask. You can raise your hand or whatever way. You can speak also if wanted. I am happy to help. Dr. Pabitra, your voice is not clear.
Your voice more than 100 to 100. It will be 100. I was just coming out more than 100. Then it should be 100 only. It should. It cannot
go beyond 100. You cannot be over 100. 100 is the
Right.
final. I have repeated many times in my presentation. You don't go beyond 100. So,
Yes,
Dr. Geeta has asked one more question. In your opinion regarding hemodialysis patient, school student, general condition, poor, for eligibility for scribe, I don't think this come under disability criteria. We are discussing here disability. This is a definite criteria. I don't want to come into this picture. Sorry, sorry, Dr. Geeta. This is a different question, entirely different question. This I will leave it to the justice of wisdom of general, because most of these patients are either seen by a general physician or a nephrologist. Like you are saying now, general conditions, poor, that becomes social worker. This thing that not our medical field criteria. So, what is the minimum age criteria for issuing? One more question from Dr. Ganesh Kumar. What is the minimum age criteria for issuing disability certificate of CP child? There is no minimum age criteria. As soon as the patient approach you and seeing CP, immediately he can, if he apply, he will have to give a certificate. I have given a certificate up to a 1 year age child. There is no criteria. Okay, but certificate has to be reviewed because the disability, though the CP is not progressive, but the locomotor disabilities and deformities can progress or improve. Any more questions?
Okay, sir, one question from my side.
Sir, your voice is not. Sir, your voice is not.
Am I audible, sir? Hello.
And can you type? Can you type? It will be easier for me. Where is breaking voice? I'm not able to understand.
Actually, I have joined by mobile only, sir. Since
now,
I'm out of
session. Now it is clear. Now it is clear.
It's clear. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Sir, the club foot was not added in the earlier types of evaluation 1992. Currently, it is added, and unfortunately, purely based on Pirani score only. See, once we correct the deformity at any age, suppose even the patient coming after 20 years, 25, 30 years also, we can correct the deformity.
Can I reply? Can I reply to that?
Sir, 1 point, sir. So that time Pirani score will come down. Unfortunately, those patients, even we correct also, they continue to have a stiff foot, they continue to have a painful foot. So I think the Pirani score, if it is even it is less than 6, but still the disability is there. They're difficult to work.
No, no. Can I give answer to that question?
Yes, yes, yes,
So
yes.
there are two things. One is CTV, and you are taking post-surgical. There is some deformity remains. Correct. So
Yes.
if you go by CTV, when we use Savik Prani scoring, basically we are thinking of neglecting CTV who had not got treatment. But that is
Yes.
Savik Prani score. And you are saying 40%. But I am thinking usually a CTV person will have bilateral involvement. Most of the time they have, sometimes they may not have. Most of them they have bilateral involvement. And definitely if we combine by formula, it may be more than 40% also. That is answer to one question. Then what happens when he has got correction? So there are two things, Dr. Pabitra. Either there is any complete correction or there can be some residual deformity. Residual means CTV deformity may remain. So what we have to do, first we have to see whether the correction is complete or not. Correct? If correction is complete, then we have to see only ankle mobility. Ankle mobility if 0, we can go by ankle mobility 30, ankle mobility 20-20 on both sides, and stability component. Stability component we can add, and accordingly, definitely he can come under this.
Yes. So
there
it is not. Yes, sir. That means it is not purely depends upon the pyramid score. Even the other part also can take over that.
And
right, sir.
And also, if there is residual correction deformity there, then we can use both. We use Savik Prani scoring as well as whatever locomotor part of this is affected. Stability, definitely we can use. But whatever criteria you have to use the advantage of the patient only. We are not here to means giving lesser percentage. We have to here to do the correct assessment and give the correct percentage. Our aim should be that, neither less, neither more.
Right, exactly. Is there any other questions from the chat box, Amit? Hello, Amit?
No, sir. That's it.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Navin, sir. It's a good presentation and good discussion among the participants. I think it must be clear to everybody, and I must say that this presentation will be also available in the YouTube. Whenever anybody is required, he can go through once again the same presentation, and he can use these things for his personal during attending any board meeting. So thank you very much, sir. You have yes.
Excuse me, sir, on YouTube, where we can find this presentation?
You can straightway go to YouTube and type the title of the topic. It's on 3rd or 4th day it will be available. Okay.
Sir, on YouTube, I should type disability evaluation.
Yes. IAPMR.
IAPMR channel will be available. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Thank you very much, sir. You have accepted our invitation and presented a nice talk. It is, I think, clear to everybody. I must thank all participants who have attended the webinar. I must thank the PR team and all office bearers of IAPMR, OAPMR for supporting us conducting this webinar. Thank you once again, everybody. Thank you, Navin, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, bye. Good night to everybody.
Good night.